This is an open meeting under section 19.81 to 19.98 of the Wisconsin State Statutes. You all have the July meeting minutes in front of you. Any need for corrections here by anyone that was in attendance?
Right.
Then I'd look for a motion to approve them.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Kate,
Second.
second by Scott. All in favor of approval of last month's minutes, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Those minutes are approved. Monthly staff reports.
Numbers that are down are mainly due to classes and programs that were being offered. We didn't have as many as we did a year ago, and that's usually due to instructor availability. Our actual admissions into the rec center itself is up. And then I will point out there is a typo. We had issues with the indoor pool numbers. That's part of the issues of not having Lauren anymore. So those numbers are not accurate. The actual numbers for the indoor are closer to what you see in '23. We weren't quite at where we were in '23, but it's a much closer number than what is being shown.
Any specific questions for Randy? All right, any communication or correspondence come in, Randy?
None.
No appearances or public comments, no old business. Under new business administration, we have an executive summary to approve the replacement of the emergency exit doors on the rec center gym.
As part of our gym floor replacement, it was suggested by the city insurer, Municipal Property Insurance Company, that the current door frames, due to their having deteriorated bases, that they be replaced. They pinpointed those doors as one of the reasons we had the water issues that we did, or moisture issues. So we were able to obtain 3 quotes from 2 different companies. The foremost quote is the same as the Forever Rafter quote. I should say the cheaper foremost. Hold on one second, let me get my sheet so I know who's who. The cheaper Forever Rafter quote
Forever, yeah.
is the same door as the foremost quote.
Millions.
And then the difference with the more expensive Forever Rafter is that $40,000 quote is exactly what we have to replace. The differences in the quotes are the what they refer to as the bullions, and in layman's terms, the posts between the doors. Right now, they are not movable. It is cheaper to have them be removable, which is actually easier for us. So staff recommends accepting the quote from Forever Rafter Construction for the $33,974. This will come out of the rec center fund balance as part of the agreed funds previously asked for to replace the gym floor, and with money saved by doing the removal ourselves of the gym floor.
Make sure that Forever Rafter Construction actually sends the invoice to the city of Hartford and not the Heartland Recreation Center.
Well,
Nice.
I intended on,
Sending it to the Heartland
Yeah.
Recreation Center?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's how we get it in budget there, Carol.
Love it. I love it.
Don't fix that.
Unreal. All right, executive summaries in front of you. Any other questions for Randy on the summary? Just kind of unrelated, but so when we pulled out the gym floor, did we effectively just cut out those posts or those
so
dividers?
So there's 2 sets of emergency doors. One set, we had staff come in and they physically removed those posts. They actually had it set up where it was one unit, they bolted it together, so they took it off while working on it, and then they were able to bolt it back on at night.
Okay. So then this will just make it easy to, if we ever had to pull up a gym floor again, we could get in there with heavier equipment.
That wouldn't have been my reasoning, But in case we wanted to do other rentals where a renter brings in something to cover the floor, or you're able to haul things in other than the 38, 40 inches that.
Yeah, anything that's bulky.
Yes. If we had, as Ken would know from going to like a trade show or something, it makes it
Exactly.
much easier to haul things in and out of the gymnasium.
Yep, definitely.
Anything else for Randy? What's your pleasure here?
I make a motion to approve.
Motion by Ken to approve staff's recommendation.
I'll second. Oh, go ahead.
Dan, was that you? We got a second by Dan. Any other discussion on it? All right, all in favor of approving staff's recommendation to go with Forever Rafter Construction, at a cost not to exceed $33,974, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, everyone. The fall activity guide.
Distribution will be the weekend of August 16th. You'll be able to find that in your, I don't want to call it the newsletter, but the free paper that goes out. Name is slipping me right now.
Express News.
Thank you,
Express
Express News. City registration, which would be in person and email, will begin on August 19th. Open registration and online registration for non-residents would begin on August 21st for all fall programming.
Okay. And corp update.
Included in your electronic packet was a link to view a draft of the corp plan. This is Commission's opportunity to review the draft plan and make any requests regarding the content prior to the final draft going forward for adoption. With such a large document and short turnaround from receiving it, I believe we mailed it or sent it out to you late Friday afternoon. I would encourage you to take some time, more time if you haven't been able to. I know I haven't been able to dive into it as much as I would like to since receiving it last week. Let me know your thoughts. You can reach out to me with any questions and suggestions on the corp plan.
All right, and a new rec center support specialist.
Yes, though she has been training throughout the month of July, we haven't officially introduced Carrie Visti to the commission yet. So Carrie Visti was hired to replace Lauren Schultz. Carrie was able to come in a handful of days during the month of July. And then she has started full-time as of last Thursday, August 1st. Carrie joins us after spending the past 6 years working in education. She has previously worked through Hartford Joint 1 as a 4K aide for 5 years, and that was within the rec center itself. So she was a familiar face and a known entity to us. Carrie and her husband, Joe, live here in Hartford and have 3 boys that are actively involved in community sports. So we want to welcome Carrie.
Welcome, Carrie.
Welcome.
Rec programs and activities. First up is playground camp.
So we are on our last session. So it's about a week and a half left. We've been having an upward trend throughout the summer for registrations, which is great. A total of 171 registrations. I would say about half, if not a little bit more than half of those, are the same every week. So we do have a lot of repeat campers. Every day, there's about 70% of the registered kids showing up, so it's actually great turnout that way as well. There's been running very smoothly this summer. I think it helps that this summer we have a lot of full-time staff instead of part-time staff. So it's a lot more consistent. They've been able to run the curriculum a little bit better that they've been putting forth, and then just consistency with rules and everything like that too. They went on field trips to Pike Lake, Schubert's, Scoop DeVille, the library. They had a day at Centennial, which was really fun for them. They got to fish there. Then this last session, they have the fire department coming out tomorrow, and they're doing an egg drop competition, see if who can make sure that the egg doesn't break. They're even going to take it up the ladder, so that should be fun for the kids. And then they're going to the mine shaft next week for some pizza and game room.
Any questions for Melanie on the camp? All right, update us on Tots a Little.
So currently, we have 7 openings in between all 4 classes. We have 7 in 2 of the classes, 9 in 1 of the classes, and we have 1 full. We just hired a new instructor. Her name is Amanda, and she has had a couple of her kids, at least 2 out of her 4 kids, go through our program. One of them should be coming up pretty soon to be in it as well. This week, she's been working with the crash course and kind of been training through me and learning her way around the classroom. She is very excited to start, and she's been learning quickly and getting more comfortable.
And I'll clarify, crash course, not learning, but crash course is one of our
Oh, yes, sorry.
prepare for Tots a Little
Yeah,
programs.
pre-K crash course is the full name.
All right, next up is Dalton Youth Sports and a wrap-up report on youth ball.
So youth ball ended last week. We had a total of 312 participants, 29 teams in 10 different leagues. I sent out a postseason evaluation to all the coaches to see if I got any feedback. I did get a couple back already. They've been giving great feedback about the umpires. They say although they're young, they've never had an issue with them, which is great. Hopefully that means I can keep them for a few more years. And I'll be, taking into consideration anything that they do want to, give back to me for feedback.
Okay, and kickball starting up?
So kickball started last night. We had 32 kids signed up. It's a great, fun program that's super laid back for the kids to be able to come and do. It went well last night. Kids had fun playing against each other. Last night they did 2 large teams, but they'll do different variations for the next couple weeks.
Excellent. Flag football starts.
So it's already coming up at the end of August. We have our 2 practices. We do have Max coming back as the youth ball, or at the flag football coordinator supervisor, so he will be back again. I'm meeting with the football team tomorrow to get some coaches for it. For our 6 to 8 age group, we have 22 kids registered, so we're still hoping for a few more, so we can have a 4th team. Our 8 to 11, we have 33 kids, so we do have smaller teams for 4 teams, and hopefully we can get some more in that one as well, but there are plenty of spots open, so hopefully we get some more kids.
All right, we'll move on to aquatics and at Vets Aquatic Center, the swim schedule for August.
Yeah, so the schedule for August is pretty similar to June and July. We're not doing any postseason hours this year like we have in the past. We used to reduce our hours to 12:30 to 3:30 that last week of the season. We weren't really able to do that this year because high school's starting a little bit earlier too, so I lose a lot of my staff at that point. So we're gonna keep open swim hours normal, noon to 6 on weekends, 1 to 7 on weekdays. Morning hours will also stay the exact same these last couple weeks, with water walking, lap swimming, as well as toddler swim. The 15th, Thursday, August 15th will be our last day for swim lessons. This final session's going pretty good so far. Kids are progressing pretty well, and instructors are having no problems with their kids. So good news on that front. And then we're still going to be having night swims from 7:30 to 9:30 every Thursday throughout the rest of the year, rest of the season.
And the season culminates,
Sunday, August 25th is our final day.
thank you.
And update on the maintenance schedule.
For VMAC, yes. So staff has been making arrangements with Wolf Underground to come in right after pool closing to video, diagnose, and hopefully correct the issues at the outdoor pool. We're working with Wolf right now as they did the recent project at the fire station, where we were really impressed with the work that they were able to do. This is similar to work where we need the video camera, and then the fixing of the pipes is something, obviously it was different at the fire station, but we're hoping to get a number from them and to get their thoughts on the matter. with our outdoor pool. Staff will stay in contact with Burbach through this process and hopefully determine the cause of the leaks as well.
And our water levels are stable there for the time being?
The water loss has remained consistent. And then just going through billing, we were a little ahead of where we were last summer, which would make sense with the issues with the lazy river and refilling it more than we had last year before realizing the issue this spring. So it would be consistent with that. So again, still not a good situation with the billing and the water loss. Good news is, other than that purple slide not being operable, users would not know the difference of what's going on at the pool.
Excellent. Hartford Family Aquatic Center, sponsored by the Lutz Family Foundation. We have a maintenance update there.
Yes, so our official shutdown started August 1st, last Thursday. Brian Worth actually came in after hours and began draining the draining process of the pool Wednesday night, July 31st. The slide itself was completely taken apart in less than 6 hours on that first Thursday. I was really impressed that they came in there, and I came in at the end of the day expecting it to be half done, and they had it taken care of. So that was great to see. And then starting last Friday the 2nd, the concrete tower has been demoed, or in the process of being demoed. I'll say that they were starting on the upper stairs. That was some solid concrete there. And then now yesterday I should say, they started on the lower stairs where we saw the majority of the breaking. That is coming down easier than it was. I commend these 3 young men that are in there using hand power tools, jackhammering away at that concrete. I went in there and commended them a couple times for their time and effort. Even as difficult as it is in talking with the contractors, they are on schedule with where they want to be with the demo process. Again, we're still in contact about timeline. Last we visited, there was a delay on the manufacturing of the new stairs and that being finished. We gave a timeline of being up and operating with the slide in time for October. We're still confident we'll hit that. Optimistically, I hope that we're open before that with the slide. Now, just a reminder, the pool itself will be open after Labor Day for lap swim and classes.
But no open swim until October?
We typically don't schedule open swims until October, just because of the nice weather. Attendance tends to be low. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Zach.
That's correct.
Okay.
And then just for John and Ken's knowledge, the stairway structure and the decking for that structure is
I can
similar to what we have at the outdoor pool. going
Correct.
to the slides.
Yes. As we call it, the plates, the steps themselves are manufactured almost identical to what we have at the outdoor pool. The delay is on those right now. Getting those finished, getting those galvanized. Right now, the plan is to at least construct the framework of the tower itself, so that way the slide can be reinstalled, because that'll be the holdup. We want that slide reinstalled because we don't want that sitting on the deck as it is now. And that shouldn't be an issue at this point. So we intend on having that done in time for our opening in September.
Yep. Parks and staff reports. First up is park project report.
Mini rentals and everyday maintenance has been keeping the staff busy. A lot of rentals throughout the month of July. July also is a time for vacation for our full-time staff. They do a good job of making sure that not too many of them are gone at one time for coverage-wise, but that slows us down, and even some of our seasonal staff. We are full with 5, which is great, but I did notice that we were often working with 2 or 3 of them at a time as we encourage them to live their lives too, young college kids, a couple of them high school kids. Want them to be able to do what they need to do as well. So it's basically just been some basics. We did have the volunteer group, I'm forgetting their names right now, I apologize, that helped us out with painting of the Independence Park doors on the shelter, overhead doors, bathroom doors. And we have them lined up to do some staining of the well monitors throughout Independence Park. Right now, if you notice them, which hopefully you're not, they're kind of blight. They need a fresh coat of stain. This group was going to handle that for us too. They were going to come in on Tuesday, work on that. It wasn't a good weather day. We had a day earlier in the month too that they got rained out on, but we have touched base with them, and they'll be coming in that last week of August to help us out with that as well.
Anything on the projects report, guys? All right, and Native Prairie update.
Yes, just a reminder, Rotary Club received a grant, and they were doing work for a native prairie is what they chose to do. There's an updated, much prettier map picture. Thank you, Melanie, for that, which shows the exact area. So if you see that now, it's covered in plastic tarp. They've tarped that off. That's a suggested way to kill the vegetation before they do their plantings. So we've tried to post that on our Facebook. I believe they've had signs out there as well, just to answer questions. I mean, so even some of our staff who are off, they question what's going on out there. So I'm trying to do our best to get the word out of what's happening there. So that will be a prairie garden. And again, that will take 2 years to establish. So for a while, it's going to look like a patch of unkept park. So we'll be prepared for that question. And just try to get the word out of what's actually happening there. And then the Rotary Club itself, they've done all the work. They've asked for a few pieces of equipment, which the city unfortunately didn't have. But they've done all the work so far, other than us. Daryl's guys' crew came in and hauled out some of the leftovers from the trenching that they did.
All right. Commission requests. Anyone have anything you want to talk about or anything on your mind tonight?
Did Randy get a taker on a boat?
I do have a boat update for you. I don't mind sharing. Kate brings up a boat because we've needed a boat to fix our water fountains, most of which were not in operation due to issues. We were not able to get back out to those because we borrowed a boat one time. I didn't want to cash in that favor again. Was able to purchase a boat and trailer last week, used of course, with a trolling motor. I believe the price tag was $700, so we have that in hand. And the plan is for our crew to get out there yet this week to check out. Hopefully it's something simple. Can't guarantee that at this point. So those wondering about the water fountains, we will be out there hopefully tomorrow, actually, is when we're planning on doing it. Great question.
I've been thinking, trying to figure out who has a boat that could help you, so.
Well, I ended up purchasing one not too far from my house. I saw it over Memorial Day weekend. They wanted $900. I was hoping for something for $300. We were using Facebook Marketplace. Actually, Brian and his wife Michelle, we had a deal in place for a $300 flat bottom boat down in Mugwanago on a Saturday morning. So Brian was going to take his time. He went down there, and then they no-showed. So I felt awful that Brian and Michelle took one of their beautiful Saturday mornings. They were very graceful about it, but long story short, I ended up coming back to this one, negotiated a lower price. They didn't blink at the $700, so of course I should have offered $600, but it is what it is. So yes, we do have a boat.
Anything else?
How long do those fountains run in the Randy? When do we run them from?
In a perfect world, we run them during our park season. So as soon as we can get out there, typically around early May, we would love to get them out there.
It's,
And then till probably October. We don't want it to get too cool out. So usually about mid-October, we would probably pull them out.
It just helps keeping the water moving sometimes and a lot of the algae that grows on top of
Correct.
the water. And that's one thing I noticed on some of those stocks we put in, is you're starting to get some of that
Yep.
growing around it. So that's what's nice about the fountains, is it keeps things moving.
Yeah, another issue that's been brought to my attention is the geese in Centennial. I haven't personally seen the geese, but I have seen the evidence of them.
They were there today under the shelter. They had some shade.
Oh, no kidding.
Enjoying it.
So I am researching that. With my time in Watertown, that's something I was somewhat familiar with. Not that I ever had a good solution in Watertown either. You know, a decoy would be great, but I'm afraid of a decoy coyote, the issues that'll cause other departments. So I want to avoid that. I've seen where ginger or another spice, if you spread that in the grass, the geese don't like that. So I've never heard that. Again, that was just a Google search on my part, so.
Encourage dog walking.
So another good point, there's some confusion on the signage around the pond. I just want to clarify that dogs are welcome on any walking paths in the parks.
On a
They're just
leash.
not on a leash. They're just not welcome in most parts of the park themselves. So if you want to walk your dog around the mill pond on the path, that is fine. If you have a family and your children want to play in the playground and you want to sit with your dog on a bench near the playground, that is technically not allowed. So I have had some PD questions on that because they don't want to wrongly give A, people a ticket, and B, they want to make sure that they have the proper information as well. And our signage is confusing with that right now. So that is something I've spoken with Ian about to get on the same page, and something that probably should get updated.
Anything else, guys? I'll board a motion to adjourn.
All motion.
Motion by John, second by Ken. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.